I think that lots of churches, when they talk about like things for families or about family, it's not always a super biblical definition of what family is. And I think that I know that from my experience, like being able to kind of open people's eyes to a different way of thinking about it, that I think only makes the church be the church better.
Several years ago, I was supremely blessed, not just to witness some of the most dynamic and meaningful expressions of true Christian family, but to actually partake in it, to contribute as a member of the body myself. The first came with a church that I was once a part of, and in particular a life group, a small group that I joined that met every Tuesday night. And it was an eclectic group of individuals, to be sure. Young and old, men, women, single, married, dating, people with full-time jobs, and others like me with several part-time jobs stacked together, some in school and some out of school, and all of us very much trying to figure out how to make this thing called life, and in particular this thing called life together, making it work. And generally every month we would come together for a potluck, and everyone would contribute a side or a drink or dessert. Inevitably, an older woman in our group would come 30 minutes late, but would carry out a gigantic tray of something steaming beneath tin foil, and she took it upon herself to be a blessing to our group, to her family. And from food shared around a table to conversations in a living room, for the first time in my life, I actually felt that this word, this term, family, wasn't just a cliche. It could actually be real. It could actually be true, beyond a mom and a dad and a brother and a sister. And a second instance of family came while working at a summer camp for boys. And the memory is so distinct and strong from one of the last nights of that camp. And while sitting on the floor watching counselors and kids run all around the gym, I saw a distinct picture of paradise, that this is the way it was always meant to be from the start. Young and old, smiles and laughter, a togetherness in the room that was palpable. Kids that came from all sorts of healthy and not so healthy family backgrounds to escape for a couple weeks in these mountains of North Carolina, to throw a ball at a counselor, to shoot a bow and arrow, to paint their bodies in war paint, to learn about Jesus, to take and to give. For as much as I was paid to contribute and give to these students, to these kids, to these campers, they most certainly gave back to me in the forms of words of encouragement, in the forms of jokes and laughter, in the forms of togetherness day in and day out, all summer long. And a realization that by the end of the summer, these weren't just kids, these just weren't campers. These were my brothers, my 12 and 13-year-old brothers in Christ. These last two Revoice conferences, we have sung a song called "Oh, How Good It Is." And it is a song not just for sexual minorities and not just for a subset of humanity, a subset of the church, but for the greater church, the greater family at large. The lyrics read as follows. Oh, how good it is when the family of God dwells together in spirit, in faith, and unity, where the bonds of peace, of acceptance and love are the fruit of his presence here among us. Oh, how good it is on this journey we share to rejoice with the happy and and weep with those who mourn. For the weak find strength, the afflicted find grace when we offer the blessing of belonging. Oh, how good it is to embrace his command, to prefer one another, forgive as he forgives. When we live as one, we all share in the love of the Son with the Father and the Spirit. So with one voice, we'll sing to the Lord, and with one heart, we'll live out his word, till the whole earth sees the Redeemer has come, for he dwells in the presence of his people. And so, my brothers, you with strong families of origin, and you without, you young and you old, you hopeful and you whose hope feels frail. May we remind ourselves often of this family of believers chosen for us long ago, a family beyond DNA and middle children, a family of untold generations, a family beyond even space, a family of soulmates and a family of misfits. Let us choose to step out with one another in this family of God, walking beside those similar to and those quite different from us. Let us choose again and again to do as Christ did for his church, his bride, his family, to give of ourselves, to die to ourselves, to aid in the coming of a new heaven and a new earth, soon and very soon, a new place, a new dwelling, a new home.